Welcome to iRise online classes. This session will go for cloze test. Now this topic, cloze test, comes under verbal logic. Reading comprehension, parajumbles, cloze test, sentence completion, these come under verbal logic. Now verbal logic questions don't have any rules, but there are many strategies or techniques. There are many strategies or techniques to approach every verbal logic question. We have already gone for reading comprehension and parajumbles. Now cloze test is a wider version of sentence completion questions, fill in the blank questions. In the case of sentence completion, a sentence will be given to us with one or two blanks. In the case of cloze test, a short paragraph will be given to us with some blanks. That's the only difference, right? Now the strategy to approach cloze test is URAL, URAL. U stands for understanding the context. Now the first thing that needs to be done when we take a sentence is we need to try to understand the meaning of the sentence. Try to understand the meaning of the sentence and frame a word of our own to fill in the blank. Then see which word among the options has a meaning similar to that of the word you have on mind. That way we can keep eliminating some options. So the first thing is trying to understand the meaning of the sentence. That is understanding the context. R stands for recognizing the clue words. Now there will be at least one clue word in every sentence. So which the clue word in the sentence is, you must be able to recognize. Recognizing the clue words. When you come across a sentence with a blank, if you are unable to find out a word to fill in the blank, you just leave that sentence and move on to the next sentence. From the next sentence, you may get a clue to fill the blank in the previous sentence. Because in a paragraph, there must be a flow of ideas. The first sentence must move on to the second to the third to the fourth, etc. So if any difficulty in finding a word to fill in a blank in a sentence, as I said, just leave that sentence and move on to the next sentence. From the next statement, we will get a clue to fill the blank in the previous statement. So every sentence will contain a clue word. So which the clue word in the sentence is, you must be able to find out. Recognizing the clue words. A stands for analyzing the charge. Analyzing the charge in a sense, whether the sentence carries a positive charge or a negative charge. Based on the words given in the sentence, you can identify the charge of a sentence. If the author uses positive words, the charge will surely be positive. If the author uses negative words, the charge will surely be negative. So based on the words given in a sentence, you must be able to identify the charge of the sentence. If the sentence is positively charged, the blank in the sentence must be filled with a positive word. So all the negative options can be eliminated. Similarly, if the sentence is negatively charged, the blank must be filled with a negative word. So all the positive options can be eliminated. So based on the words given in a sentence, you must be able to identify the charge of the sentence. Analyzing the charge. L stands for learning to identify the indicators. Now I told you, the concept of indicators will surely help us a lot while approaching all types of verbal questions. We have gone for grammar exercises based on this concept. We have understood or realized the importance of this concept while approaching parajumbles and reading comprehension. We will eliminate options and select options using this concept, indicators. Never miss any indicator while reading. Indicators deserve utmost importance while reading. The three kinds of indicators: contrast, support, and cause and effect. A contrast indicator connects one positive idea and one negative idea to contradicting ideas. A support indicator connects either two positive ideas or two negative ideas. A cause and effect indicator connects a reason and a result. And it's always a positive reason and a positive result, or negative reason and a negative result. Never miss any indicator while reading. Now the concept of indicators is all about the charge in fact. An idea can be negatively charged as well as positively charged. The charge of an idea depends on the context or sentence in which the idea appears. So based on the context, with the help of indicators, you must be able to identify the charge of every idea in a sentence. If I say, the first part of the sentence is negative, you have a contrast indicator. Then the second part. First part is negative, contrast indicator, second part, and the blank is there in the second part. So this blank must be filled with a negative word or a positive word. The first part is negative, we have a contrast indicator, so undoubtedly the second part must be positive. So the blank in the second part must be filled with a positive word, so all the negative options can be eliminated. The first part of a sentence is negative. We have a support indicator in the second part, right? First part is negative, support indicator, second part, and the blank is there in the second part. So this blank must be filled with a negative word, because the support indicator connects either two positive ideas or two negative ideas. First part is negative, support indicator, the second part, the blank is there in the second part. So this blank must be filled with a negative word, so all the positive options can be eliminated. The first part of a sentence is positive. We have a support indicator, so undoubtedly the second part must also be positive. There's no doubt in that. The first part is positive, support indicator, second part. And the second part, we have a negative word and the blank, right? First part is positive, support indicator, the second part must also be positive. In the second part, we have a negative word and the blank. So this blank must be filled with a negative word or positive word? Negative word. Only then, because of double negation, the second part will also become positive. Double negation, as you know, when two negative terms come together, the meaning becomes positive. We cannot miss any concept because we don't know based on which concept will get our help. Think about double negation. Pronoun antecedent. Ante means pre, before. Every pronoun must refer to a noun before it. A singular pronoun can refer only to a singular noun, and a plural pronoun can refer only to a plural noun. Pronoun antecedent. Appositions. You know what appositions are? These punctuation marks. Colon, semicolon, hyphen, brackets. We have gone for all these in detail, these four punctuation marks in detail while discussing reading comprehension. We have selected options and eliminated options using these punctuation marks as well, apart from the other concepts. Colon, semicolon, hyphen, brackets are termed as appositions. What comes after an apposition explains what comes before it. So if you're not able to understand the first part, just read the second part. Similarly, if you're not able to understand the second part, just read the first part. So what I mean to say is, if what comes before the apposition is positive, what comes after the apposition must also be positive. Similarly, if what comes before the apposition is negative, what comes after the apposition must also be negative. The second part explains the first part. Appositions. Think about subject-verb agreement. If the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. Singular subject, singular verb, plural subject, plural verb. Parts of speech. Now when you find a blank, just see whether the blank must be filled with a word belonging to which part of speech. If the blank must be filled with an adjective, all the options that are not adjectives can be eliminated. If the blank must be filled with a noun, all the options that are not nouns can be eliminated. So identifying the part of speech will surely help us eliminate options. Articles, prepositions, tense consistency. If a sentence begins in the present tense, up to the end it must be in the present tense. If it begins in the past, the same. If it begins in the future, the same. From the beginning to the end, a sentence must be in the same tense. Now when you find verbs given as options, in fact, as you know, the verb in a sentence tells us about the tense of the sentence. So when you find verbs given as options, think about tense consistency, think about modifiers, Every sentence must be grammatically correct and must make sense. If a sentence is grammatically correct but doesn't make sense, just eliminate that option. The topic modifiers is all about making sense. We have gone for it. Parallelism. In a sentence, there must be parallelism. Parallelism means if there is more than one idea in a sentence, all the ideas must have equal importance. It means all the ideas must be expressed in the same form. Only if they express in the same form, there will be parallelism. So all what we have discussed till now will surely help us a lot while approaching Cloze Test. So the same concepts for sentence completion as well. Fill in the blank questions. Because as I said, Cloze Test is a wider version of sentence completion questions, right? Repeat, when you take a sentence, try to understand the meaning of a sentence, frame a word of your own and see to fill in the blank. Then see which word among the options has a meaning similar to that of the word you have on mind. There'll be at least one clue word in every sentence. Identify which the clue word is. In a paragraph, there must be a flow of ideas. Based on the words given in a sentence, identify the charge of a sentence, and don't miss any indicator while reading. All the concepts we have discussed up to now must be thought about in the case of cloze test. So we'll go slowly. We'll go sentence by sentence. We'll read the passage once very quickly. Then we'll go on to every sentence and try getting words to fill in the blanks in the sentences. Got it? Welcome to iRise online classes. This session will go for an exercise on cloze test. So we need to understand the meaning of every statement and try to fill in the blank with the words that we have on mind. Think about redundancy, repetition. In a sentence, there should not be more than one word conveying the same meaning. If it is there, it becomes error with redundancy. If you find any word, any of the four options, there is a meaning similar to that of the word of any word in the sentence. Without thinking much, eliminate that option. We'll go passage by passage. We'll read the passage once. We'll get to know what the passage is about, what the subject matter of the passage is. Then we'll move on to the options. We'll go on to every sentence. We'll think about the options given as, we'll think about the words given as options to every blank, and we'll keep eliminating options. Don't get stuck with any option. And every sentence must make sense. I'll read the passage. Now in the following passage, some of the words have been left out, blanks. First read the passage over and try to understand what it's about, the subject matter of the passage. Then fill in the blanks with the help of the alternatives, the options. Come to the first one. Billy Arjun Singh was a wildlife enthusiast. Billy's fight dash hunting put 26 professional shikar companies out of jobs. Full stop. Punctuation marks matter a lot while reading. Dash his failing health. He had dashed a writ in the Allahabad High Court against dash in Dudhwa. This is apart from a dash battle that he dashed to have the offending railway tracks dashed through Dudhwa shifted to dash its inhabitants a peaceful dash. The only regret he had was there was so much dash to be done for tigers and so little time. Billy's contribution will always be remembered by wildlife lovers. So passage talks about a person called Billy Arjun Singh and his love for wildlife. So he is fighting against hunting. Right? That's what the whole passage is. What's the whole passage about? And the whole passage is positively charged. Fine? Come to the passage once again. We'll go sentence by sentence. At the time we'll think about the options. Billy Arjun Singh was a wildlife enthusiast. Billy's fight dash hunting put 26 professional shikar companies out of jobs. According to the passage, Billy Arjun Singh is supporting hunting or opposing hunting? He is opposing hunting, right? He is against hunting. Billy's fight dash hunting, come to the options. Towards, for, over, against. Billy's fight towards hunting means he is supporting hunting. As per the passage, he is opposing hunting. Option 1 is eliminated. Billy's fight for hunting also means he is supporting hunting, contradicting the passage. Option 2 is also eliminated. There's nothing like over hunting. Option 3 is gone. And from the passage is very clear that Billy Arjun Singh is opposing hunting, so it must be against hunting. Billy's fight against hunting put 26 professional shikar companies out of jobs. Dash his failing health, comma, he dashed a writ in the Allahabad High Court against dash in Dudhwa. This sentence contains two ideas shown by the punctuation mark, comma. His failing health is one idea. He had dashed a writ in the Allahabad High Court against dash in Dudhwa is the other idea. Leave blank 2, come to blank 3. He had dashed a writ in the Allahabad High Court. Right? Now you find the options are although, okay, blank 3, filed, given, represented, forwarded. He had dashed a writ in the Allahabad High Court. Writ in the sense like a case. We file a case, give a case, represent a case, or forward a case. We don't give a case. We don't forward a case. We forward a suggestion or a statement and all. We don't represent a case. Representing means like, on behalf of others we stand. That is representing. We don't represent the case as well. We file a case. So it must be filed a writ in the Allahabad High Court. He had filed a writ in the Allahabad High Court against dash in Dudhwa. What is he fighting against? As per the context, he is fighting against hunting. Right. Come to the options. Option 4, deforestation. Blank 4, deforestation, pollution, poaching, killing. Deforestation is a negative word because DE is a negative prefix. Cutting down trees. Nowhere related to the context, eliminated. Pollution also nowhere talked about in that context. It doesn't match the context, eliminated. We have two options left, poaching and killing. Now in the passage, he is against hunting. Right? Hunting means killing animals. Killing is a very general term. In this context, we're talking about killing animals. And killing animals is termed as poaching. So option 4 is eliminated. It must be 3, poaching. So he had filed a writ in the Allahabad High Court against poaching in Dudhwa. Now come to blank 2. Now as I said, this sentence contains two ideas shown by the punctuation mark, comma. The first idea is his failing health, negative. The second idea is he had filed a writ in the Allahabad High Court against poaching in Dudhwa, negative, positive. Positive because of double negation. Poaching is negative, against poaching is positive because of double negation. So we have two ideas in this sentence. One idea is negative, the other idea is positive. So blank 2 must be filled with what kind of an indicator? Contrast indicator. Because only a contrast indicator connects to contradicting ideas. One negative idea and one positive idea. So blank 2 must be filled with a contrast indicator. Come to the options. Blank 2. Although, despite, respite, frequently. Respite is not a contrast indicator. I did not give in the list of contrast indicators. You have to by heart the list and never miss any indicator while reading. Indicators deserve at most importance while reading. Respite is not a contrast indicator, eliminated. Respite means a period of rest. Right. Frequently is also not a contrast indicator, eliminated. Now we have two options left, although and despite. Although is a contrast indicator, despite is also a contrast indicator. Come to the statement. Dash his failing health. If you check the sentence that we discussed with although, after although a subject will be there. Like although I went there, although he came here, although we studied well, although they worked hard, although she played well, after although a subject will be there. Blank 2 must be filled with an indicator, and that to a contrast indicator. Immediately after blank 2, do we have a subject? No. We don't have a subject immediately after blank 2, so it cannot be in spite of, it must be despite. Despite his failing health, he had filed a writ. Now, if I say, although he studied well, comma, he failed the exam. Although is a contrast indicator. Immediately after although, we have a subject, that is he. Right? Despite studying well, he failed the exam. So although he studied well, he failed the exam. Is same as despite studying well, he failed the exam. The same is the case here. Despite his failing health, he had filed a writ in the Allahabad High Court against poaching in Dudhwa. This is apart from. Apart from is a support indicator. I gave you the list of support indicators. The idea before apart from is positive because of double negation. So idea after apart from must also be positive. This is apart from a dash battle that he dash to have the offending railway tracks dash through Dudhwa shifted to dash its inhabitants a peaceful dash. Leave blank 5, come to blank 6. This is apart from a dash battle that he dash. I told you there will be a clue word in every sentence. This is apart from a dash battle that he dash. Come to the blanks, the options for blank 6. Waged, conducted, started, constituted. A battle that he dash. Now we wage a war. Battle means war. We wage a war, conduct a war, start a war, or constitute a war. We don't conduct a war. We conduct a meeting, we throw a party and all. We don't start a war. Constitute means like to bring all the components together. Bringing all the components together is constituting. We don't constitute a war. We wage a war. So it must be waged. So this is apart from a dash battle that he waged to have the offending railway tracks dash through Dudhwa. Offending railway tracks dash through Dudhwa. Come to the options for blank 7. Running, going, entering, standing. Railway tracks dash through Dudhwa. Railway tracks going through Dudhwa is wrong. Railway tracks don't go anywhere, we go. So option 2 is eliminated. Entering through Dudhwa is wrong. Entering Dudhwa is correct. Entering through Dudhwa becomes a wrong usage. Option 3 is eliminated. Railway tracks standing through Dudhwa. There is no usage like standing through. And railway tracks don't stand, eliminated. The answer must be option 1, running. Railway tracks running through Dudhwa. Now the tracks run along a place and the trains run along the tracks. Right? The tracks run along a place and the trains run along the tracks. So railway tracks running through Dudhwa shifted to dash its inhabitants. Shifted to dash its inhabitants, a peaceful dash. Come to blank 8. Shifted to dash its inhabitants. To dash, it's always 2 plus V1 plural. And 2 plus V1 plural is termed as infinitive. Shifted to dash its inhabitants, the options are have. Shifted to have its inhabitants does not make sense, eliminated. Shifted to ensure its inhabitants makes sense. And ensure is V1 plural. 2 plus V1 plural, infinitive. Shifted to preoccupy its inhabitants. Preoccupy does not fit this context, eliminated. Demand its inhabitants, gone. Demanding the inhabitants is negative. That sentence must be positively charged because of the support indicator apart from eliminated. Ensure is a positive word. The charge is also fine, makes sense. So shifted to ensure its inhabitants, a peaceful dash. Shifted to ensure its inhabitants, a peaceful dash. Come to the options. Existence, stay, vocation, reunion. Vocation means a profession that we follow. The profession that we follow does not fit here, eliminated. Shifted to ensure its inhabitants, a peaceful reunion does not make sense. It doesn't mean that they got separated or parted and now they are going for reunion, eliminated. Now we have 2 options left, existence and stay. Now what's the difference between living and staying? Living means like to live in a place means we spend a life there. Our life will be spent there itself. Staying means like it is a temporary process. Should I say, I have stayed in Mumbai for 3 days or I have lived in Mumbai for 3 days. I have stayed in Mumbai for 3 days, temporary purpose, for a short period of time, short span of time. The sentence says, shifted to ensure its inhabitants a peaceful dash. Inhabitants are those who live in a place or stay in a place. Inhabitants are those who live in a place. They spend their whole life there. So based on that, stay is eliminated. Answer must be existence. That means the inhabitants exist in a place. So this is apart from a dash battle that he waged to ensure its inhabitants, to have the offending railway tracks running through Dudhwa, shifted to ensure its inhabitants a peaceful existence. Now we have 1 blank left in the sentence, blank 5. Come to blank 5. This is apart from a dash battle that he waged to have the offending railway tracks running through Dudhwa shifted to ensure its inhabitants a peaceful existence. Because of railway tracks running along that place or running through that place, they don't have a peaceful existence. So meaning of this statement is, he started the battle, that means he waged the battle. He started fighting, right? He started fighting, that means he waged the battle. He continued fighting till the time he could attain peaceful existence for its inhabitants. He could provide peaceful existence for its inhabitants. That means he did not give up. He did not give up. He continued fighting till the time he became successful. So until he became successful, he continued fighting without surrendering. That's the meaning of this statement. This is apart from a dash battle. Battle is a noun, so blank 5 must be filled with an adjective. And that adjective must describe battle. What kind of battle? I told you, he started fighting the battle. He waged the war, started fighting the battle. He did not surrender. He started fighting and kept fighting till the time he could attain peaceful existence to its inhabitants. So what kind of battle must it be? That is the question. Come to blank 5. Continuous, persistent, permanent, relentless. Continuous is the same as persistence, continuing. So options 1 and 2 are eliminated. There's nothing like permanent battle. He fought until he could find or provide peaceful existence to its inhabitants. After that he stopped. So it is not a permanent battle. The answer must be relentless. Relentless means like tireless, without giving up, without surrendering, fighting, overcoming all the barriers and fighting till the time we become successful. That is called relentless. Now we take an exam, we fail. Happens. We fail, we should not surrender, we should not give up, we should keep fighting or taking exams till the time we become successful. He did not give up, he did not surrender, he kept on fighting till the time he could provide peaceful existence to its inhabitants. It was a tireless one. Without surrendering, he fought the battle, so it must be relentless battle. So this is apart from a relentless battle that he waged to have the offending railway tracks. Did he fight a battle? Correct. To have the offending railway tracks running through Dudhwa shifted to ensure its inhabitants a peaceful existence. The only regret he had was there was so much dash to be done for tigers and so little time. There was so much dash to be done for tigers. To be done is 2 plus B plus V3. Done is V3. And as you know, we have discussed in the case of voice and speech, it is modal plus B plus V3. Modal plus B plus V3. So this blank must be filled with a modal. Right. Come to this one. The options are wanted to be done, appeared, dreamed, needed. It is modal plus B plus V3. Wanted is eliminated, appeared is eliminated, dreamed is eliminated. It must be needed. Needed to be done. Need to is a modal telling us about a compulsory action. Must be done, should be done, need to be done, have to be done, has to be done, had to be done, etc. Modal plus B plus V3. So there is so much needed to be done for tigers and so little time. Billy's contribution will always be remembered by wildlife lovers. So understand the meaning of the paragraph. No need to go for any kind of imagination. No imagination at all. You should not go for. Just visualize the paragraph, understand the meaning of it, and then try to fill in the blanks with the appropriate words. Getting it? Come to the next one. I'll read the paragraph. Without water, dash animal can survive. In desert regions, the greatest dash to life is drying up. But many creatures are able to make use of dash little water that exists in arid areas. One of nature's masterpieces, dash creatures equipped to dash with the desert life, is the hardy camel. There are several stories describing the dash endurance of these animals. These animals means like camels. It is said that camels can dash a distance of about 800 miles in 8 days through continuous travel, dash an intake of a single drop of water. The popular dash in a way is dash. Water is indeed stored there, but in the form of fat. So this paragraph talks about talks about the importance of water. And without water, animals cannot survive. Right? It starts with animals in general and moves on to one animal in specific, which is that the camel. I told you in a sentence or a paragraph, the change always happens from general to specific. It starts in a general way and moves on to specific. So this paragraph starts with animals in general and moves on to one animal in specific, that is the camel. Right? And what is talked about the camel here is positive. Right? So this is what the passage is about. Come to the passage once again. We'll go sentence by sentence. Without water, dash animal can survive. The options are every, no, any, desert. We are talking about one animal, desert animal, that is camel, that is in specific. It starts with general, so option 4 is eliminated. Now, without water, every animal can survive does not make sense here, eliminated. Without water, any animal can survive, also contradicting the paragraph, eliminated. The answer must be 2. Without water, no animal can survive. That means every animal needs water to survive. In desert regions, the greatest dash to life is drying up. What is drying up? Water is drying up, right? In desert regions, the greatest dash to life is drying up. Water is drying up because without water, no animal can survive. Water is drying up. Water is the greatest dash to life. Water is the greatest inadequacy is anyway eliminated. Want is also gone. Right? Now, water is the greatest requirement to life or worry to life. Leave it there. I told you never get stuck with any blank. If you're not getting a word to fill in the blank, leave the sentence and move on to the next sentence. Come to the next statement. But, what indicator? Contrast indicator must always connect to contradicting ideas. One positive idea, one negative idea. The idea after but must be contradicting the idea before but. Come to idea after but. But many creatures are able to make use of dash little water that exists in arid areas. The options are what, the, very, that. Now, but many creatures are able to make use of dash little water. Water is a noun. I told you while discussing articles how to identify whether a noun in a sentence is general or specific. If there is no information given regarding a noun in a sentence, that noun is taken as general. If there is some information given regarding a noun in a sentence, that noun is taken as specific. This is how to identify whether a noun in a sentence is general or specific. Water is a noun. In this sentence, is there any detail given regarding the noun water? Yes. What is that? That exists in arid areas. Water that exists in arid areas. So that exists in arid areas is the information given regarding the noun water. So in this case, the noun water must be taken as specific, and specific means it is the, based on that 1 is eliminated, 3 is eliminated, 4 is eliminated. The answer must be 2. The little water. Water is uncountable. Little, a little and the little are used with uncountable nouns. That concept is completely fine. And the little is specific because the is a definite article taken as specific. But many creatures are able to make use of the little water that exists in arid areas. The part after but says some water was there. And that little water that was there was used by many creatures. The part after but says some water was there, and that quantity of water, the little quantity of water that was there, was used by many creatures. So part before but must say that water was there or water was not there. Water was not there, because the idea after but must be contradicting the idea before but. The idea after but says some water was there, so idea before but must say that water was not there. Now come to blank 2. In desert regions, the greatest dash to life is drying up. What is drying up? Water is drying up. That means there's no water. And according to this context, without water, no animal can survive. That means every animal needs water to survive. So water is the greatest requirement to life or worry to life? Water is not the greatest worry to life. Water is the greatest requirement to life. Because no animal can survive without water. For every animal, water is compulsory. Every animal needs water to survive, and the greatest requirement to life, which is water, is drying up. Then it says, but many creatures are making use of the little water that exists in arid areas. Now the sentence makes sense. Got it? Without water, no animal can survive. So what is the greatest requirement to life? And the greatest requirement to life is drying up. It means there's no water. But some water is there. The little water is being used by many creatures. One of nature's masterpieces dash creatures. Creatures is a plural noun, right? One of nature's masterpieces dash creatures. Come to the blanks. Come to the options related to blank 4. For creatures, about creatures, with creatures, among creatures. Creatures means more than 2. For creatures does not fit. About creatures does not fit. With also does not fit. It must be among. If you have any doubt, read the whole sentence. We have one more blank in the same sentence. We'll fill that blank as well. Then we'll see whether the sentence makes sense or not. One of nature's masterpieces among creatures equipped to dash with desert life is a hardy camel. We're talking about many creatures, and among the many creatures, one creature is a hardy camel. One of nature's masterpieces among creatures equipped to dash with desert life is a hardy camel. The options are live, resist, bear, cope. The camel cannot live with desert life. Does not make sense. Eliminated. Resist means like going against. The camel doesn't resist desert life. It adjusts with the desert life. Eliminated. Bear with desert life is a wrong usage. The camel bears desert life is okay. Cope with. Cope with is a correct usage. And cope with means to get adjusted to get used to, get accustomed to, get habituated to. So cope with is a correct usage. It must be cope. Now we'll see whether the whole sentence makes sense or not. One of nature's masterpieces among creatures equipped to cope with the desert life is a hardy camel. So among the creatures, one creature gets equipped with, gets adjusted to the desert life, which is that camel. So we're talking about many creatures. So among is fine. And among the creatures, one creature gets adjusted to the desert life, that is the hardy camel, and cope with means to get adjusted to something. The sentence makes sense. There are several stories describing the dash endurance of these animals. These animals means camels. This sentence is positively charged. There are several stories describing the dash endurance of these animals. The sentence is positively charged. So blank 6 must be filled with a positive word. Based on that, option 2 is eliminated. Little is negative, eliminated. Tolerable endurance. Tolerable endurance becomes added with redundancy. Tolerating is same as enduring. So based on redundancy, option 3 is eliminated. Now we have 2 options left. Remarkable, popular. Remarkable means something that deserves mention, appreciation. Popular means very famous. Here, there are several stories describing the dash endurance of these animals. So here we are appreciating the camels for their endurance. It's not famous. We are appreciating the camels for endurance. That means their endurance deserves appreciation or mention. The endurance is praiseworthy. That's the meaning. Based on that, option 4 is eliminated. It must be remarkable. Remarkable endurance of these animals. Come to next statement. It is said that camels can dash a distance of about 800 miles. Can dash, it is always can plus V1 plural. Camels can dash a distance of about 800 miles. Every sentence must make sense. Can camels measure the distance of 800 miles? No, that's not make sense. Can camels reduce the distance of 800 miles? No. Can camels cover a distance of 800 miles? Yes, we can cover a distance of 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers and all. Makes sense. Can camels reach a distance of 800 miles? No. We cannot reach a distance of 800 miles. We reach a destination. We cannot reach a distance of 800 miles. We reach a destination. Based on that, option 4 is eliminated. The answer must be option C. Cover. Camels can cover a distance of about 800 miles in 8 days through continuous travel. Dash an intake of a single drop of water. So camel can travel or can cover or travel 800 miles in 8 days through continuous travel without an intake of a single drop of water. That's a meaning, because it does not take even a single drop of water. Without even taking a single drop of water, a camel covers 800 miles in 8 days through continuous travel. So undoubtedly this blank must be filled with the word without. For. Camel travels 800 miles for a single drop of water means to get a single drop of water, camel travels 800 miles. Does not make sense. Eliminated. Accepting and receiving, the same meanings. The same meaning, in fact, for these two words don't fit these two words anyway don't fit the context. Eliminated. It must be 2. So camels can cover a distance of about 800 miles in 8 days through continuous travel without an intake of a single drop of water. The popular dash in a way is dash. The popular dash, that means what is talked about the camel here. The popular dash, come to the options. There is no proverb mentioned there. Eliminated. What the camel does, traveling 800 miles without taking even a single drop of water, it is not a guess, it is a fact. Based on that, 2 is eliminated. Version is for a story. What the camel does. Regarding camel is not a story. It's what the camel does, in fact. Eliminated. It must be belief. The popular belief in a way is dash. Now, my question is, blank 10 must be filled with a positive word or negative word. The popular belief in a way is dash. Now, according to this context, the belief is regarding the camel, right? The camel travels 800 miles in 8 days through continuous travel without taking even a single drop of water. So, the belief is regarding the camel. And what is talked about the camel in this context is positive, right? The belief is regarding the camel. What is talked about the camel in this context is positive. So the belief regarding the camel must also be positive. So blank 10 must be filled with a positive word. Come to the options. Baseless, negative, eliminated. Wrong, negative, eliminated. Misleading, MIS is a negative prefix, negative, eliminated. The answer must be option 4. The popular belief in a way is correct. Come to next statement. Water is indeed stored there, but in the form of fat. Water is indeed stored there, but in the form of fat. Deserts. There means deserts. So water is indeed stored there, but in the form of fat. Now the very first sentence of the passage says, without water, no animal can survive. Is camel included in this? Yes, because camel is also an animal. So camel also cannot survive without water. Then towards the end it says, camel travels 800 miles in 8 days without taking even a single drop of water. Without even taking a single drop of water, the camel travels 800 miles in 8 days. Camel is also an animal, so camel also cannot survive without water. The camel travels 800 miles in 8 days without taking even a single drop of water. It means the camel does not take even a single drop of water, but the camel makes use of the water that is stored in the form of fat. And that is how the camel is able to travel 800 miles in 8 days without taking even a single drop of water. The camel is also an animal. The camel too cannot survive without water. The camel travels these many kilometers without taking even a single drop of water, but the camel makes use of the water that is stored in the form of fat. And that enables the camel to travel 800 miles in 8 days without taking a single drop of water. Got it?